Hello and welcome, Croeso. My name is Gareth, and this is the 11th episode of the Adventures of Hiraeth. And we are here just outside Dueland, and we are on our way, hopefully, to find our way up to Ring West, where there are a number of quests awaiting us. It's a suspicious campfire right here, which I don't remember from the past. And we look at the map here and we're heading slightly in the wrong direction. We are indeed in need of going about this way somewhere. And we have some wolves that we can pick off on the way, which will aid in our getting the deed, the advanced wolf slayer, completed. And again, that actually was not too bad. We are going to ignore honey and such other stuff. It's been a while, so I am out of rotation, the proper rotation here. And we are finally going in the right direction. So we're going to swim across. I wonder how my bear is going to do in the water. I forgot about this little pond. Tiny little thing. As he made, there he is, he's made it now. So I believe we're coming up to the Ring West any moment now, as it's got the flashing stuff, so and there is our first goblin. So we shall take care of him. There we go. And as you see, there is no shortage of enemies to attack here. I'm hoping that we're not too underleveled. You see that there are a couple of levels ahead of us. But we seem to be doing okay. It's a question of whether we get swamped. Now you see that up there, these get a little bit dangerous for our level 10. That's 3 levels ahead of us. Let's be a bit reckless and see what we can do. And yes, we are now dealing with so now hopefully Bear will take over and save our bacon. Okay. Now then. Let's see what this guy does. Bear is engaged. So, what I'm learning at this point is that we can relatively safely take down one of these guys, but I'm not sure whether we want to be going inside there, because there are several enemies in that small area. So I think we will just try and take out. And there, in fact, in there, as you can see, that is the main guy that we need to take on. But I think we are definitely under-leveled for him right now. It may well be that we need to go off and do some questing in some of the other areas to then come back here when we're a little bit more. Let's risk it. Let's see what happens. How many did we pull? We pulled 3. This could be dangerous. Or 2. This could be dangerous. We may not be getting the Undying title from this character just because of the way that we're playing it. There we go. And okay, we've done that. We're now going to run away, and break our leg. And in fact, we're going to go back to Doyland and turn this, at least this particular part of the quest in. And I think what we will do at that point, we will perhaps take in some quests, starter quests from the other side of Ered Luin at the dwarven end, and see what happened. But as I say, the level 8s and even the level 9s don't seem to be having too much of a problem for us. It's when we get swamped. And there we are. We have gotten our Wolf Slayer deed done. It wasn't even the advanced, so that's a good. We shall go back to Doyland. And today, in fact, is the launch day for the new Arnor legendary server, and I will be trying to get onto that. I took a look this morning just after 11 o'clock and I was 679th in line, which in many ways is a good thing, proving that the server is going to be popular, or at least initially. I logged out and went and checked back a few minutes later to see if they had, I don't know, up to capacity or whatever, and I actually saw myself being 1,680 something in line. So again, this looks like it might well be a very interesting server to go check out, or perhaps not on this first day when everyone is waiting, but certainly at some point in the near future. And it all depends on what it really is. I'm not sure what they mean by legendary. I know they're going back to the start of the game where level 50 and the the Angmarian area is the end game. But it looks more like it's a progression server because they will be unlocking content every 4 months or so, I believe, from what I read. It's a question of, but they're also, it's not like a completely going back to the beginning because they have kept the Warden and the Runekeeper in there. They're obviously kept the technical advances in there. I'll be curious to see what exactly, for example, the beginner experience is like. Is it the new revamped experience, or is it the old one that we had when we first booted up the game so many years ago? So I will go check that out, and if I think it's worthwhile, we may run a second series in parallel here. Anyway, let us talk to Bregar. Do this at least.
The sorrows of the Eldar are never ending.
Okay, the memory of that place will always be one of melancholy. Knowing that the goblins have been purged restores a small amount of hope to me, Hiraeth. You have brought a timely resolution with regard to Doring West, and I thank you for this. I didn't do really that much considering how many more things we have to do there. So do we want vitality or might? I think vitality, we are not a might-based class. Now, of course, we do have all these other quests to do here. But as I say, I think what we will do now is crack on and go up to uh, the dwarven area of Ered Luin, back to Farron's Court, where we started our adventures, what seems like a very long time ago now, with Lord Dwalin. And it wasn't really 60 years, or 2 years ago, but it feels like it sometimes. And again, I must apologize for the inconsistency of uploads lately. I have, you may be able to tell, still suffering a bit from
Greetings to
the
you.
the remnants of a rather nasty little cold that was not particularly fun. We'll go all the way up to Thorin's Gate, and we'll just follow this ride first time that we do it, and that's that way we'll get that traveling out of the way, so we can, when we go to different places, we can actually skip ahead. Yes, coming over, I went to a rather fun event a week or so ago in Chicago, where I'm living. There was a triple header rugby occasion at Soldier Field, which is the American football stadium for the Bears. And there were as I said, three games, all of which were a little lopsided in score, but it was in fact the first time I'd been to a rugby games in a very, very long time. And I'm thinking perhaps even since I've been to the States, or in the States, and that has been almost a quarter of a century. So, A, that tells you that A, I'm old, and B, that watching rugby hasn't had that many opportunities, but it was nice. Two games involving the US, one involving Ireland and Italy. As I say, the scorelines weren't very good for the US teams. I thought the women's team against the New Zealand team the scoreline flattered the New Zealanders. And I hope that the US women weren't too downhearted at that. Here we are we're passing now, we're coming into the lands of the dwarves. This is, we're at, I believe, at Gondomar, going past it here. This is a quest hub for dwarves. It's up there. It's also an area where there are some skirmishes later on, featuring Gondomar, defending Gondomar, which is, it's an early skirmish, but it's not available till, of course, level 20 or so. And that can be some ways off because of the way that we're playing with the XP disabled, trying to work at level. And as you saw, the problem with working at level is that we do run into a limited area, limited number of quests we can do at each area. So what I think will happen is that we will perhaps do a little a round robin, as it were. We started off in Clondon, and we're now coming up. As you see, we're getting a little bit higher. The snow is starting to get on the ground here. We're now in moving to the dwarf section of Ered Luin. I think from there we will then go to either Archit in Breland, or to Michel Delving, or Little Delving to begin with, in the Shire, and try and do as many of the earlier quests as possible in those areas. And I think, if my memory serves right, for the dwarves, I think there's a couple of fairly early quests in and around Farron's Court and Thorin's Hall, and I think we might even be able to come down to this next spot where we're just about coming up to now. Heligrond? No, I can't remember. But that again may be similar to the the secondary elven area of Duiland. We might be able to go and kill some goblins in the outskirts of the area around here, but I think we'll have to play that by ear. And I think perhaps we'll then go to Archet and deal with the starter quests there. And again, we won't be able to move on to Bree because again, those will be way too high for us. And then finally, I think we'll finish up in the Shire and then maybe take off the XP delimiter in the Shire and maybe run up there to level 9 or something, and then come back. If you have any suggestions on differences there, and I think we'll come off the horse there. And we have actually started a new deed, Places of the Dwarves, which is, as you can see, there's a lot of places here, but we will go in up to the up these wonderful steps here to Thorin's hall itself, and it looks a lot better. You can see the statue back here, actually, even though it's nighttime. They've been rebuilt or reassembled the statue to Farron, which had been kicked, pulled down, much to the annoyance of those dwarves that we saw being rather mad in the early episodes in the prologue. Again, there are people here. Dwarves here. We will be able to pick up little quests there. But to begin with, we will talk to this guy, and we will do that next time because we've spent a lot of time traveling. But I think that should do it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and look out as well as for the next episode here. A post on the legendary server. I'll get that up as soon as I can log in. All the good names will be taken by then. Anyway, until that point, this has been Gareth, and this is my friend Hiraeth. And my goodness, we're so tall, aren't we? Alright, well, have a wonderful time in and out of Middle-earth. Until next time, and we'll see you then. And again, there is no set schedule for these, so the best way to find out when the next one is coming up will be to subscribe. If you did enjoy this, please leave a like. It really helps me. It helps the algorithm. Anyway, we'll see you soon. Take care.